All right, hey, welcome everybody. I was just, hey, get your pen and paper out because we got some really cool stuff tonight. Kent's going to be off the chart awesome, and what I mean by that is the training he's doing tonight is something that I actually kind of covered a few days ago in my devotional. It's about problem versus solutions. You'll see it all the time. Even just kind of watch your social media outlets like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You'll see a lot of times people pop up with where they're amplifying and bringing life to certain situations or problems that are going on. And as leaders in a whether it's in your home, your church community, if it's in your workplace or in your business. As a leader, the goal is to find a solution to the situation, not amplify the problem. And so we're going to be able to learn some really cool stuff from Kent tonight. I want to welcome everyone. Kent, Georgia, I take it away, brother.
Thanks, Keith. I know a lot of you guys are amped up, and you guys are getting ready for the Christmas holiday. And I'm just letting you know this is not the time to slow down. If you talk with me, you talk to Keith, you talk to anybody that's been in business, now is the time you should be turning the gas on high and really talking to a lot of people. You should be out there networking. You should be meeting people. Just yesterday I was at a Starbucks and, just ordering a cup of coffee, was going to go sit down and, gentleman next to me, and I just started to network with him. And so next thing I know, he's asking me what I do. I just did a quick snippet, and I'm going to show you how to network with somebody without fire hosing them, or a better way to get to know somebody, so that way they're like, when you walk away, you're going to be the best conversation they've ever had, and they're actually going to want to talk with you when you follow up with them. All right. So, hey, Keith, one of the things I asked is please watch the chat just in case I miss anything. You can bring it up. That way we can hit this on all cylinders and go ahead. So, one of the reasons I do this for businesses. I do this art of networking for a lot of network marketers. I do this for salespeople. So this is not the first time I've done this. I actually get asked to come in as a guest speaker and talk about this because I really enjoy this. I'm really good at this. And if you've ever been around me, you'll think back to some conversations I've had with you, and you'll go, oh my gosh, Kent, use this art of networking on me. All right. So one of the things that I like to do is let me get my slides up, because I actually have slides for you guys. All right. And I'm just going to start off with my why. Can you guys see that? Can you see the picture of my daughter? Give me a thumbs up if you can see that. All right, cool. So that is my why. This is why I go out and network. This is why I talk to people and share, because I want her future to be better. Your parents always attempted to do things that were better for you than what they got, and you want to do the same thing for your kids and your family and stuff. So make sure you have a why you're going out to do this, whether it's your children, your grandchildren, your spouse, it could be a family member, and here's the thing, there are some people out there that don't have any family, they don't have a lot of friends, and so they're always looking for a why. And it could just be to go out and share with somebody, to share something that you have, something that could help them have a better day, a better life. All right. So don't always think about yourself. Think about what you can do, that ripple effect that you can go out there and create. All right. So we're going to actually get into this. Let's see if my slides work good. All right. So I hope you got your pens. Hope you got your papers. If you need to scoot forward to the screen, go ahead. I know some of you guys need to put your glasses on. which is all good. So I can see some of you, even though you're looking at my screen. So the art of networking, how to grow the bucket of golden nuggets. All right, and I'm sharing the bucket of golden nuggets because a friend of mine said that every relationship you have, a person that you create and develop a friendship, a relationship with, is a golden nugget. Okay, and those nuggets are put into a bucket. So if you only got 3 nuggets in a bucket, that's your bucket of gold. However, some people are great at networking. They're good at talking with people, communicating and things. So they have lots of friends, lots of engagement, lots of people in their bucket. So their bucket is more full of gold. And so I always say, people are your gold nuggets, for today, tomorrow, and in the future. All right. One of the best conversations I had with was Harvey McKay, and he always talks about dig your well before you're thirsty. All right. Think about that. Go and build a network, build a relationship before that opportunity comes. Go and talk to people, create relationships, create those networks that you have out there before it's desperate times. It's before before you're thirsty, all right? Because if you dig that well and there's water in there, you'll never be thirsty, all right? So let's see all right. So while you're thinking about this, and a lot of you guys might have some input, so put it in the chat rooms so Keith can see that. And then I have no problem stopping and talking about this because this is the art of networking.
Hey, just so you know, while you're in the middle of doing a presentation, I can't see chats at all.
Okay. Oh, well. Well, maybe what I'll do is I'll go back to the video. That way you can look at the chat, and we'll go from there. How's that?
That's cool.
Let me see if I can make you a host. If you bear with us 1 second, this is always new and different. And let's see more.
I can see it.
You can see the chat room?
Yeah, I can't see both at the same time, but I can watch the chat.
Okay. All right, cool. So I know there's people that will post comments, and that's fine. All right, and I'm just sharing this, that the art of networking is coming from my point of view. So if you feel that there's a better way, a better system and things like that, and it's working for you, then use it. But a lot of people don't have a system. They don't know where to start or where to engage or how to. And so this is just a stepping platform for them. Okay, and this is also stuff that has been taught to me. It's been stuff that Keith has taught, and we've learned so much stuff that we just use it every day, and we forget, oh my gosh, this is stuff that most people don't know. And so that's why we're creating these trainings, is because we have so much up here that we're like, we need to get this stuff out. We need to share it with you guys so that you become better leaders, so that you guys know what we know, so that you have the success. Sound good? So right here, everything evolves around networking. All right, up on the upper left-hand corner, finding places to meet people. That's usually one of the biggest challenges people have. They're like, where do I go to meet people? The other one is the conversations. All right, to engage people. What do I say? How do I say stuff? What is going to get that person in the conversation to chat with me, to ask me for my phone number or for my business card? And then of course there's always the follow-up, and retaining people to kickstart their networks, to build their lists, or as I say, their nuggets of gold. All right, so those all point to networking. All right, and we're going to talk about each one of those. Let's see if my slide goes next. Okay, so locations to find people. And I just created little snippets of places that I've gone to or know of where you can go to network, to actually build relationships, to share what you're doing and things like that. Now, here's the thing is when you go to these places, I'm actually going to show you some tips and tricks that I use. Because I don't go in there and say, hey, I got this CBD company, or I got this travel company, or I got this protein shake company. You know, I use different techniques to meet people, to get their information, because you know, so many of these groups, like the BNI groups or the Toastmasters, the Rotary clubs, the meetups, you go there and all you see is people just passing out business cards. And what happens when you go to those events and you get all those business cards? What happens after you leave that event? Do most of us just grab the stack of business cards, wrap that rubber band around them, and then we throw it on the desk or in the corner and say, I'll get to that later? That's usually what happens. So think about this. Your BNI groups, those are a lot of business networking people. These are really great groups. If you don't know a BNI group in your area, just Google your BNI group in your area and you'll find one. There's tons. Like I live in San Diego, there's probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 BNI groups in each county. Toastmasters. You're afraid to speak in front of people? This is a great place to share what you do and get better at speaking. I know one network marketer literally recruited his whole Toastmasters group because every time he got up and talked, he would do his presentation of his company to them so they could critique him so he could get better. And by the end of it, most of the people wanted to join what he had. Think about that. You have a captive audience that has to listen to you and then they're going to critique you to make you better. What a better way to go than Toastmasters. Plus, then you can get awards, you can get recognition, you can go on to other Toastmasters events and stuff like that. So those are really good. Rotary clubs are really good because that is a network. It's a tight network of people that are there to help business people. And you're in business to help people. Another one is a meetup. I have a meetup group of over 14,000 members. You know, and people come to my meetups to network, to socialize, to go and do things, and they're looking to create relationships. And if you can go to a meetup and just participate and get to know some people in that group, it gives you an opportunity to follow up with them later. Another one is nonprofit charity events. Think about this. Who are the people that go to nonprofit charity events? Usually people that have money, right? And if they got money, they can donate a lot of money to a charity. They can take time to sit down with you for a cup of coffee and hear what you're doing or what you're working on, or build a relationship to partner up with them on something and work together. Another thing that you can do is your church. I mean, a lot of us attend the church or synagogue or wherever you go to worship. A lot of people are there. I mean, just my church alone has 10,000 plus members. There are a few people that you can talk to each Sunday just saying, hi, how's it going? And networking with them to get to know them, build relationships. Where else do you guys think would be a good place to find people? Go ahead and unmute yourselves, put it in the chat room. I'm actually going to take it off the presentation just to, you know.
Well, when I first got in the industry, they told me I should go to the mall and hide behind the bushes and jump out when people pass by.
In the mall and hide behind the bushes?
Yeah. I'm just kidding. You
probably still do that to this day.
No, actually, I don't go out looking for nobody anymore.
There you go. And the reason is because you've created such big networks, Keith, that people now come to you and people find you. And of course, there is the social media aspect where a lot of people are hiding behind that. But I'm telling you, belly to belly, face to face is still more effective.
Absolutely. I didn't say I didn't meet people. I just said I don't go out of my way to go do it. Now, when I'm out and about, whether filling up my gas, my car with gasoline, or if I'm at the grocery store, or if I'm going to, you know, drop off my brother-in-law somewhere, or going to this place or that place. I do engage in conversation with people, and I like to find out where they're from. I use the F.O.R.M method of contacting, just kind of talk to people.
Hey, don't go into my presentation.
Oh, you can hit that? I'm sorry.
It's all part of the presentation. PJ said the beach is a good place. Kids, oh, perfect, Jessica. Kids sporting events. Oh my gosh. Like, talk about a great place to network with people is other moms and dads are there at the kids sporting events and getting to know them. I know when I drop my daughter off at school, if there's a face I don't know, I will walk up and say, hey, I'm Emma's dad. Who are you? And I'll start engaging them, and I'm going to show you how to engage with them. But I use this opportunity to meet that parent. They might only have been there once that month to drop their kid off, but I'm there every day, every morning, dropping my daughter off at school, and I use that opportunity to meet the other moms, the other dads that drop off, and use that to network. So that's a great place to find people. Grocery stores is another great one. Thank you, PJ. You're seeing PJ's is dumping in some good stuff like that. I had one that I was going to share.
What about Starbucks for coffee?
Starbucks for coffee? Yes, April. That's a perfect one. And I know a lot of people go to coffee shops. You stand in line to wait to order. The person in front of you and the person behind you are perfect to talk to. Nail salons, hair salons. These are, again, you have those ladies in front of you. They're doing your manicure, you're doing your pedicure and stuff like that. You have a captive audience to talk about. Your hairdresser, they're doing your hair. What do hairdressers are the best people to recruit because they talk to everybody. Seriously, like I have a friend in Canada that's a hairdresser that has built her network marketing company just because she has a captive audience. She doesn't fire hose them. She has the products in front of them. So as she's talking and relating them to stuff, she points them, oh yeah, you should check out that product, or oh, grab that bottle right there and read what's in it and stuff like that. And so it helps them see the stuff, and she's engaging and really helping people interact and see that she doesn't have to be that typical networker that just fire hoses and stuff like that. Your Uber driver. Ooh, see, look at this. PJ's just dropping some good one. What's Quinn said? I find events on Facebook in my local area to attend for things I'm interested in, whether it's food and beverage, health and wellness. Go to your kid's friend's birthday party. See, there are some great places. So, as you can see, there are a plethora of areas to find people. If you are telling yourself you cannot find people, you're probably looking under a rock. Oh, the country fair. Yeah, or the county fair. See, there's all kinds of places. What about flea markets and farmers markets? Those are other great people. I know in my other companies, I recruited a lot of the farmers market people because they were selling products that related to my industry, and so it just tied in, and they have a captive audience every Wednesday or Saturday that come to see them for their stuff. So yes, and look at everybody keeps chiming in, restaurants, pharmacies, things like that. So see, I've got your minds twirling, and while this is going on, you should be writing down some of these places because these are places you should be going. You should be talking to people and creating your networks. All right, let me get back to my screen so I can share more content with you. All right, so here are my top 10. So as you can see, I wrote down top 10 people. When I go to a BNI or a LATEP or a networking event, there's more than 50 people. You know, if there's more than 30 people, you need to actually find the top 10 people, all right? Because your time is of the essence, all right? You're not going to sit there and network. If there's 110 people, like I've been to networking events in San Diego that had 300 people. Then I've been in events that had 40 people. And even with 40 people, I am not going to sit there and talk to every single person. I don't have the time. Think about it. If you took 5 minutes for each person, just 10 people is already 50 minutes of your time. All right. So think about that. You would have to be there for almost 3.5 hours to talk to 40 people. And that's if you only took 5 minutes. All right. So what I do is I identify the top 10 people. When I go to the event, whether it's my first time or my 100th time, I find the person that put on the event. There's usually a host, a greeter, or somebody that is there to make sure you get your name tag, to make sure that you're pointed in the right direction. And I go up and introduce myself. Hey, I'm Kent. This is my first time. Or, hey, I've been here before, but I forget a lot of stuff. So I need your help. And you look like the smartest person in the room. Always acknowledge them. You look like the smartest person in the room. My time is limited, and I know you probably know who are the top 10 people I should meet. All right. Now, before I ask them that question, I let them know what I do. Hey, I'm in the health and wellness business. I am or hey, I'm in the travel industry, or hey, I'm in whatever. You share what you're in and who your ideal client would be. So when you go in there, you're letting them know who you are, but of course, first ask what they do. What is their profession? Like, I've been in there where the host or the greeter was a CPA or a lawyer or a stay-at-home mom that's looking for opportunities, and she wanted to be the host of the meeting to find out what her next plan was. So find out what they do, let them know what you do, and then ask them, who are the top 10 people I should meet? Because they probably know most of the people in the room. They've been doing it long enough, and they can point you to the top 10 people. And then that way, you're not wasting your time. You're not going around just finding random people who are doing here's my business card, take it and give me a call. You don't want those people. You want the leaders. When you go to these networking groups, you always find there's like 4 or 5 people huddled around one person, and then there's like 4 or 5 people huddled around this person. Those are the people you want to get in front of. And so I always ask the greeter, hey, could you introduce me to one of the top 3 people? And they'll walk you over and they'll, hey, Joe, this is Kent. Joe is a lawyer here, and Kent is doing this, and you guys should talk. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Joe, it's so great to meet you. I know your time's important, my time's important. I only have a few minutes to talk with you, but before we end this discussion, I would love for you to introduce me to one of the top 3 people that you know that could help me. Do you see how I'm using each person to leverage myself to get in front of the top people in that room? Because if I have the top 10 people in that room, then I have pretty much everybody in that room, because those top 10 people have the database of the other people that are surrounded around them. And they are the type of people that are going to help me or point me into the direction of 4 or 5 other people. So if I'm talking to the top 10 and they can point me into the direction of 3 to 5 other people, do you see how I'm multiplying that? One person can give me 5 leads. So if I'm getting 10, now I'm expanding my leads to 50. And I'm doing it politely, shortly, and I'm letting them know, hey, I appreciate your time. Wow. And I'm going to show you some of the questions that I ask these leaders when I'm talking with them. Now, here's the thing, and I'm dropping a tip right here. When you go to network, you should always have a pen on you, whether it's in your purse or in your pocket, in your jacket or whatever. Have a pen with you. How many times have you guys gotten a business card that you couldn't write on? All right? Everybody wants these nice glossy business cards, and you're like, Oh, great. And one of the things you want to do is when the person is talking to you is to take notes. And what's the best place to put those notes? On the back of their business card. As they're talking to me, I'm like, oh yeah, really? And I'm writing it down. And I'm, you got two kids, Christy and John. Okay. I'm taking these notes so that way when I follow up with them, I have really descriptive notes of the conversation that I had with this person. So that way, when I'm calling them and I'm like, "Oh, hey, how was your daughter's Christmas recital?" Da, 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 and how's Joe doing? They're like, "Oh my gosh, this guy listened to me." And it's because I'm writing notes on the back of their business card. So when I'm looking at the business card, I turn it over. I remember that whole conversation. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Well, here's the thing. Most those business cards, all right. Here, I'm going to stop this real quick. Most those business cards are glossy. You see my pen? All right. On my pen, I have painter's tape. It's a blue tape that I have. And anytime I go somewhere, I have a pen that I have taken painter's tape and just wrapped, 4 or 5 rounds around it. And then when somebody goes to talk, I pull my pen out and I say, hold on one second, let me do this because I notice they have a glossy business card. I rip it off. I grab their business card. See, like this card, it's reflective and it's, I can't write on that. But guess what? I can put blue duct tape, blue painter's tape on there, and now I can write all my notes on the back of this card with their information on the front of the card. So when I call them, I can say, oh, well, hey, how is Emma? And you had a Christmas party to go to, and, how's your wife, Jackie? And da-da-da-da. I've got all the notes right there. And I don't get frustrated because, most business cards are glossy or like I have, even in Club A, they gave us these reflective business cards. And I watch people go, oh, this looks cool. And then they go to write on it, and they're like, yeah, this ain't working. So don't let a business card faux pas or failure stop you from being a great networker. All right? You like those cards? They're not for sale and you can't get them. Sorry about that. But always have a pen with duct tape on, not duct tape, blue tape on it. All right? The blue tape is going to save you so much of a headache. That you're going to be like, oh, I love this idea. And you're going to use it all the time. I learned this from a mentor, and I'm sharing it with you. Now, here's the other thing. When you talk with somebody and they give you your business card, I do one of two things. I either give them three of my business cards. I hand them 3 of my business cards. Why? Because 1 to keep and 2 to give away. I want them to keep my business card. And oh, by the way, I'm giving you some extras so that you can give my card to 2 other people that I should talk with, that need what I have. All right. The other thing is sometimes I don't give them a business card. Why? Because I have their card and I can follow up with them. Can we have some cards made through Vistaprint? Stuff's coming, guys. Stuff is coming. So be patient, all right? So using the business card, there's different tips, different tricks that people use. If you don't have any business cards to give out and they don't have any business cards with them, how many of you guys have your cell phone available? All right. And what I do is I go into my contacts, I go to the blank part, and then I say, hey, hey, so-and-so, Keith, you know what? Unfortunately, I'm going green right now and using less business cards. But if you don't mind, here's my contacts. Go ahead and punch in your name, email, and phone number for me, so that way I have your card, and then I'll just mark you for this event so I know where we met and stuff like that. And then you can start the conversation, and in your business card section, there is always a note section. And guess what? That's where you drop the notes. All right. You like that, Keith? Yes. Okay. All right. So that is just some tips that I've used in networking. You know, and if people say, "Oh, why don't you have business cards?" Say, you know what? I'm lessening the carbon fiber footprint, so I've gone digital, and I'm going green, and so I'm saving the paper. And in my business, I just put people on my phone because the people that are in my phone are the most important. Yeah, you like that. Awesome. All right. So now we're going to get back. Where's the screen? Share. All right. So, all right. This is the biggest thing that most people say. OMG, what do I say? How many of you, when going to a networking event or standing at Starbucks or at your church or at a kids event, go, "Ah, there's the perfect person. What do I say?" How many of you guys like fight yourself saying, "What do I say to this person? How do I get their attention? What do I do?" Because they would be the perfect prospect. They would be the perfect person to talk to about my business. But then you sit there and you beat yourself going, "Oh, I don't know what to say," or "How do I say it?" So I'm going to show you a quick 4-letter word that I use. And if you know it, awesome. If not, this is new information for you. All right. So the first question I usually ask is family. All right. When I'm introduce myself, I tell them I'm new to the neighborhood or this is the first time here, and then I start asking them, "Oh, are you from here? Where are you from? Do you have family here?" You dig into the question on family. I'm going to use Keith as an example. We're going to kind of role play a little bit on this once I go through the 4 different letters, all right? And what we're going to do is we're actually going to form somebody, F-O-R-M, all right? So the first one is family. The second one is occupation. Everybody's got an occupation, whether it's a stay-at-home mom, a nurse, a male postal person, a fitness person, who knows, what graphic designer. Everybody has occupation. It could be just even a stay-at-home mom is a full-time occupation, So asking people about their occupation allows you to dig deeper, all right? Recreation. What is it that they like to do for fun? When they're not with their family, when they're out, not at their occupation or whatever, what do they like to do for fun? What is the recreational stuff? Do they like to water ski? Do they like to ride motorcycles? Do they like to go weightlifting? Do they, chase their kids for an activity? Do they do paintball? Whatever it is, you find out. All right. And then the last thing is money or message. A lot of people say money, like when you're talking with them, "Hey, if money wasn't important, what would you be doing?" Or if money, obviously your occupation must be a great career because you've been in it so long, so the money must be good. All right, so you can dig into that, or you can use that as your message time to share a little bit about your product, your company, your mission, why you're talking with people. And is that correct? Is that what you do there, Keith? Looking for you.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so, oops, I went back one. All right, so FYI, the deeper you dig into each one of these, the more they will share, and you will learn. Cha-ching! I wish I had that was easy. Usually have that button around. So let me see. Okay, so I'm just gonna go. Oh, let me go back. So as an example, I'm just gonna use Keith. A lot of times what I do is I get people to partner up with a buddy in the room, and I tell them to form the person that's across from them. And we have an A partner and a B partner. So it's a little hard here in the Zoom call to do an A partner, partner on this. However, Keith, I'm going to use you as an example. All right. And it could be whether or not we're just standing in a Starbucks. Hey, Keith, we're standing in a Starbucks right now. You're grabbing a coffee. I'm grabbing a coffee. We're waiting in line, and you're in front of me, and there's like 4 or 5 people deep in the Starbucks line, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this line is long. Is this normal?
At this time of the day, absolutely.
Oh, okay. So you're from around here?
Actually, yeah, from about a block away.
So you only live a block away?
Block away, yeah. I love Starbucks coffee, so I come here every day.
No, me too. I'm from San Diego. I'm visiting. I'm here on a company trip and stuff like that. So this is pretty cool to know the locals here. So are you from a big family that lives in this neighborhood, or is it just you? Or
yeah, no, it's I'm from a big family, but I have married 35 years, and I got 2 kids and 5 grandkids. What you said you're from San Diego? What you doing in this area?
Well, like I said, I'm here on a business trip, and so I was just grabbing a coffee before we go and talk about do our business and stuff like that. You know how people travel all the time for business and stuff. And
Oh, I do.
Oma is a great place to visit, right?
It's one of the best places to visit. But San Diego sounds pretty fascinating.
It is. It is. Now you were saying you've been married for 35 years?
Yeah.
And you got 2 kids and how many grandkids?
5. Well, 4, but one 5th one on the way.
5th on. Wow. That's awesome. So, I mean, obviously, with a big family nearby, you must work a lot.
Yeah, kind of. I actually work from home. I work with a group of business men and women who are actually in the process of developing an online business.
Oh, so you work at home?
I do.
How long have you been doing that?
Since 2015.
2015. So you've been doing this a long time. You must be an expert in your field.
Yeah, expert's a non-existing drop of water. I'd say I'm proficient, but not an expert.
Okay, no, that's cool. So you help a lot of people, and you do it from home, and you're good at it because you've been doing this since 2010.
Well, no, I actually I went full time working from home in 2015. I've been in the industry of home-based entrepreneurship since 1989. So yeah, it's worked part time mostly until I was able to turn into a full time income.
What got you into this?
Just the desire and the want to. I married my wife 35 years ago to spend time with her, not time away from her. And I found out when children were born, they got these nasty little habits like eating and sleeping indoors, and so as a result, I had to work to bring in money so they could have a place to eat and sleep indoors, and it got pretty expensive.
Yeah, kids are expensive. I got one of my own, and I know you got 2. Are yours little or older?
Oh no, they're adults, man.
Okay.
Yeah, 30 and 27.
Oh wow, 30 and 27. All right,
Yeah.
cool. And that's how you have grandkids.
Yeah, and I'm 42, so I'm not sure what happened to them.
You must be using a miracle cream.
No.
So, Keith, obviously you got family here, you help people at home and stuff. Well, when you're not helping people or you're not doing the stay-at-home business or things like that, what do you do for fun around here? I mean, Houma is a small town. I mean, there's not a lot to do. I mean, what, chase gators?
That and manger.
What's manger?
Michelle knows. Lisa knows. That's to eat.
Yeah, but then I don't know who Michelle and Lisa are. They're not here.
That's right. That's right. Eat.
Oh, eat. So, okay.
That's what you do in South Louisiana. You just eat.
Eat and chase gators.
Got some great food down here. Gator bites and gator tails and and sauce piquant and coubillon and you name it. It's here. It's all for the taking. But beyond that, hey, we got a little trampoline place you can go jump in. We can go
Is that
to the
what you
golf
do?
course. No, I've never done it, but you probably would like to.
No, I'm just, what do you like to do? Like, you're the local, so I always ask locals what they like to do for fun when they're not working.
Oh, it's the sportsman paradise: fishing, hunting, playing golf, that type of stuff.
So you're an outdoor guy.
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you really enjoy what you're doing. It sounds like you've been doing it for a long time. Money must be really well in what you're doing, and stuff. I don't know if you're ever open to other opportunities, or you listen to other people and what they do in business and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm here on business. I don't have a lot of time. Oh, you're almost next in line. Do you mind if I get your information? We can talk a little later, and maybe I can share why I'm here on business with you.
Look, absolutely. I would love to. I'm always open to different opportunities and concepts. In fact, I share, with people all the time. As a matter of fact, since we got to know each other, I'd love to buy your coffee, man. Would you let me do that?
Perfect. I'd love that. Free coffee, cha-ching. I mean,
Absolutely.
Awesome. Here's my phone. Go ahead and put your information in, and then I'm just going to say we met at Starbucks, so I have a note here. And then, if you don't mind, I'm going to focus on my business trip here, but when I get back on next Monday, I'd be more than happy to give you a call. Is that a good is Monday okay to call you?
Oh, yeah. Mondays. Look, and if something happens that I don't answer it, leave a message because I'm constantly doing conference calls and trainings and stuff like that. But absolutely leave a message. I will call you back if I don't answer.
No, I totally respect that. Somebody that's busy is doing things to move ahead and help people. So I totally respect that. I will leave you a message and we will connect up. Thanks, Keith.
Absolutely. Great.
Hey, thank you. And thanks for the coffee.
Yeah. Hope you like it. Cajun coffee.
Cajun coffee. Woo-hoo. All right, so as you can see, I went through family, occupation, recreation, and then I talked a little bit about money, and then I kind of went into my message of, hey, I'm busy. Are you open to other opportunities, or are you always open to listen to what other people are doing and stuff like that? But in that conversation, I asked questions. Did you hear anything from me about who I am, what I do, about my family, about what I do or anything? There was nothing. Like, Keith is going to walk away from that conversation saying, wow, that was a great conversation. And
what
you know
a great
why?
guy. That's why I bought his coffee, because he's a great guy.
Thank you. You know why Keith loved that conversation? Because he talked about himself the whole time.
WIIFM.
What WIIFM?
What's my favorite radio station? What's in it for me?
That's right. And the thing is most people love to hear themselves speak. Most people love to share about themselves. They don't care about you. They care about themselves. And so if you're asking the questions, if you're digging, you can get the best conversation with somebody. The best way to network is to ask questions about them. People will start to ask me questions, and I'll spin that question with a question to go back to them. They'll be like, so what do you do? I'm like, oh, well, just like everybody else, same thing you do. How amazing is it that you do this? Tell me a little bit more. And I'll just literally spin that question and go back to them, asking them a question. Because I want them to think this is the best conversation because they're talking the whole time. All I'm doing is listening. I know Keith's been married for 35 years. He's got family in the neighborhood. He's got 2 kids, 27 and 30. He's got 5 grandkids, 1 on the way almost. So it's almost fun. He went full-time working from home in 2015. He did it part-time, started in 89. He loves to do outdoors. He does the gator bites and everything, and I can't even say the Cajun word, but they love to eat and stuff. Am I hitting it on all the cylinders? Did you notice that? And the thing is I just asked family, occupation, recreation, money, and message. Now, here's the thing. If you guys want to practice this, you can reach out to me, and I will practice this with you till you're blue in the face. Because the more you practice, like Lisa, you guys are sitting right next to each other. You guys should be practicing this. All right. Kim, you work in the post office. You should be forming people, especially, do you work at the front desk where people have to bring the postal stuff to you?
Now, me? Who, me?
No, not you, Lisa. Kimberly.
No, I run the show, so I'm in the back.
Oh, you're in the back. Okay. But you go out in the front during Christmas time to help people.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be a great opportunity to practice forming people?
Oh, I'm pretty good at asking
Jibber jabber?
questions. Oh yeah.
Now,
I'm
here's the
not
thing.
shy.
There are a lot of people that are good at conversation, but their conversations have no meaning to them.
Right.
All right, which means they can jibber jabber all they want, but they're not asking questions. They're just talking to talk and get whatever it is or get the person out versus getting to know the person.
True.
Most people will pick up the phone and answer, especially when they know that you know them. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. Do you think in that conversation with Keith, we've gotten to know each other a little bit? He kind of likes me. He bought me a coffee. And now when I call him, I kind of already have that trust in that conversation. So it makes it easier for me to explain what I'm doing, why I'm in Homa, when I'm doing stuff. Just like, wherever you work or whatever your occupation is, this is a great opportunity to get in front of people, to practice forming them. F.O.R.M. And literally, I will go out and be talking to people, and my friends will elbow me, and they'll look at me, and I'm like, what? And they literally will tell me, you're forming that person. Yeah, so what? I don't care. I'm getting to know that person. But the thing is I've literally had people that I was forming think I was hitting on them, because I asked so many good questions that they were like, well, wow, are you asking me on a date? And I'm like, nope, I'm just actually asking you for information, to get to know you. And I really want to follow up on a conversation on business. And they're like, oh my gosh, I've been approached by guys all the time, and they've never asked these good questions. Because if you ask good questions, it gets their mind ticking and triggering and going, wow, I'll give this guy or this lady more information, because you're taking the time to get to know them. You're taking the time to ask questions that most people will never ask. Does that make sense? All right. So let me go back. I know a lot of you guys are.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay. I've been forming people since I could learn how to talk. As you all know, Chatty Cathy. However, it's not a problem for me to talk to people anywhere I go all the time. The problem that I get into is, and it's not a problem to talk about CBD, it's because I'm so passionate about it. I'm wondering the type of people that I land that are interested or immediately of the mindset of, is this one of those MLMs? Or no, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, no, I don't. So am I attracting simply all customers as opposed to building a team? And there's something that I have to catch to draw a different type of caliber of people that are interested in the beauty of the building of this business. Make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does. And the thing is in my conversation with Keith, did I mention anything about Club A or CBD or anything about products?
Not yet, but eventually, if you're okay, so that line at Starbucks wasn't a line. It happened to be an event where you go into a school fair and you're talking, or you're at a home and garden show and you have longer than 5 minutes to talk. Then what?
Why are you spending that much time meeting a stranger? Why are you spending more than that when you're at a home and garden? I'm not talking like you have a booth there. I'm talking like just going out to network, to walk into places and walk out. to do a BNI, walk in, get the top 10, walk out. Go
Yeah.
like your church. You're not sitting there at the church doing a presentation.
And I'm
You're
the
just
chatty
talking to
Cathy.
the person. Just like in Starbucks, you're standing in line. You only got a few minutes to talk with them.
Just don't do it, Lisa. Don't talk about your company, your product, or nothing like that at that particular point in time.
I mean, I'm not saying, I keep saying but I am genuinely interested in listening to their story, and they will tell me a lot of times they'll tell me a lot more. I don't
Well,
know.
that's what you want. You want them to tell you. You want them to you want to use both your ears to listen twice as much as you speak, right? So you want them to tell you. And the cool thing is they're gonna, especially if when you're talking about the family or occupation, they might say something about, oh, I no longer work because I'm disabled or whatever, and the conversation might go to something they might have going wrong with them, and you still don't. Well, look, I got this that can help that. No, 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 no. When you leaving them, you would say something like, hey, I'm in the health wellness arena, and there's occasionally I'll come across some things that might be able to help with that. If I do, would you like for me to give you a call? And
Okay.
they'll say like, oh, absolutely. Well, now you got permission to call them later about your stuff.
But don't mention CBD in the first.
I wouldn't. I don't.
No, look,
Okay,
I mean, I didn't even mention what I do. I didn't mention my company. I said I was here on business. I told Keith I'm an entrepreneur as well, and it's great to meet somebody like him. And I'm here on business. Is he open? Is he ever open to other opportunities? Does he ever listen about other businesses that are up and coming that I could share with him? And he said, yeah. So that's all I left him with. And because of that, he liked the conversation so much, he bought me a coffee. I haven't even said anything about products, services, or what I do. But the thing is when I call him, he'll pick up the phone and he'll be like, hey, how's it going, Kent? Da, da, da. And I'll be like, hey, Keith, how's your beautiful wife of 35 years? And have you seen your 2 kids this week? I know you're getting excited about that up and coming grandbaby coming, so tell me, what, I know you like to eat. What was the best thing you ate this week? And he'll tell me, and then it'll click back the conversation. Hey, we were talking in Starbucks about entrepreneurship, and we were talking about, you work from home and you help people, and I actually do the same thing. I actually help people in industry that's like taboo. And then he might go, oh, well, what's that? Well, I actually work in the CBD or hemp industry with multiple products that help people on a holistic path. Because more and more people are looking to go holistic versus the doctor approach. Are you ever open, or do you know other people that are looking for that type of industry or go holistic versus going to the doctor to help heal themselves?
Yeah, Kent, someone pretty Jackson. What if someone is ready to listen and join the team right then? I've never
They're like a rare bird, and that's probably 1 out of 1,000 people that you talk to.
Yeah, because I've never actually had that happen.
I've had a few.
Your conversation was about what?
But I jump into the CBD thing and I tell them my story, and then they're like, really? And then and then I say it's easy.
Is this somebody you know already?
What?
You know this person already?
2 of them, no.
So you're telling me a complete stranger signed up with you in your business right on the spot?
A friend of a friend.
That was a referral then?
Well, I mean, it was a referral because it would be like one of her friends.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally different than a complete stranger.
Right.
Well,
This is
a complete stranger is somebody you walk into like a Starbucks and you don't even know them. They don't know you.
You don't have
no connections.
No connections. That's what this training is about.
I need to go look at my list now. I'm curious.
So, all right. So, well, everybody else, was there a question? I didn't get to see the difference. So, yeah. So, here's the thing is you're going to get better results. Like, you might have got 2 people signed up because you told them your story and stuff like that. But what about the other 100 people that you fire hosed or you talked to that did nothing? You know, do you want the 2 that signed up right then and there and they might do something and you already talked to 100? Or would you rather talk to 100 knowing that your approach is better, that you're getting a second toe dipped into that relationship, you're building it, nurturing it, and you can sign up 30, 40, 50 of them versus 2. All right. So you got to think about that as well, because what I just heard, you just said you shared your story, which means you're talking more than listening. You're fire hosing them about your story. And so now they're like, and sometimes people will just sign up just to get you to go away. All right. And I've seen that happen. There's a couple of you guys laughing because you know it's true. Because you've been in that situation. The person's like, blah, 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 and you're like, you know what? I'll just assign your paperwork if you just shut up and go away. And that happens. And then, of course, what do? They cancel their membership and you never see them again. All right. But we don't want that. If you form people, and Lisa, you're a rarity. You grew up doing this. However, most people don't. So if they can practice family, occupation, recreation methods, and for you, Lisa, I would suggest not even talking about your business, your product, or anything, and practice on getting good at just using family, occupation, recreation, money, and message, getting their information, and then following up with them to then share your business. All right? And if what you're doing right now is working and you're getting huge success, then stay with it. But this is my suggestion. This is something that I've worked with a long time. And again, yes, quality over quantity. Quality. You know, again, you're saying you're not hitting the right people. Well, again, it's because you might have only gotten 2 signed up. And what about the other 98 people that you talked to?
I'm not saying I'm not hitting the right people. What I'm thinking is that I'm drawing more of a customer base than a team base.
And there's nothing wrong with having a customer base. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Actually, that's a good thing because a lot of companies now are making you have a customer base and a team base. You have to have both. And it's the Herbalife versus the FTC. So having a customer database, a customer amount of people is a good thing. So don't be discouraged because you got a lot of customers and not a lot of team builders. The team builders will come because those customers that get knowledge, that get experience, that get the information will eventually turn into you. Go ahead, Keith.
I was just going to say, I don't want folks to kind of get confused on this. There's a difference between someone you never met before in your life versus people you have either a direct relationship with or a referral. Like if I'm just signing up my best friend's from childhood, he comes on, he partners with me, and we're working the people that he has influence over, right? I don't know them I might not know them personally, but there's a connection there. This training is not for that situation. What Kent is training on is the person that you've never met before in your entire life. You're out at a grocery store, a ball game, or whatever, and you are standing in line at the coffee shop, and you happen to meet someone in line, and you're having a conversation. That's what he's training on right now. Not about people that you already know. That's a whole different conversation,
right?
Versus what he's training.
No, I appreciate that, Keith, because it's basically finding cold leads, people that you have never met before, and getting to meet them. Like I was at a grocery store and this gal was standing in front of me, and I the way I started to break conversation was to find something that they were wearing, something they had on, something that stood out on them, and compliment them. Whether it was a necklace, their hairdo, the blouse they were wearing. This one girl, she had different colored toenails. And I just looked down, and I was like, oh my gosh, those are the coolest toes I've ever seen. And she swung around. She's like, oh my gosh, nobody's ever complimented me on my toes. I'm like, did you do those yourself, or was that professionally done? And she's like, oh, I do this myself. And I'm like, wow, do you practice on your family? And I just went straight into F.O.R.M on her. And guess what? She became one of my top recruiters in one of my companies. And it was because I complimented her on her different colored toenails. Now, that was a quick conversation. Did I have time to talk to her about my company? No. We were in the grocery store line going through. You only literally have a minute or two. But I asked her about her family, what she does for fun. I asked her if I could get back in touch with her because I liked what she was doing. She said yes, and then I got to follow up on that conversation. But, always look for something you can compliment. Like, Lisa, I see you guys sitting there, and your friends got those really cool earrings and stuff like that. Those are awesome looking, Are those, I would say, oh, those are awesome. I've never seen anything like those. Did you make those, or are they homemade? See? And see, I'm creating a conversation already. So, you find things that engage people and get them talking to you. And it happens all the time. I'm like, even oh my gosh, this line is so long. Is this normal? And you'll either get the person in front of you or the person behind you answering that question. Yes, Keith.
Yes, I want to validate the last thing you did in that conversation. To make sure everybody gets this point is that you created a way you got permission from them to call them back, to get back in touch with them. That was the last thing he did after he finished the money or message. Was he, through the conversation, in his mind, developed a question for them that they would give him permission to call them back. That's very key.
Awesome. Thank you,
Makes
Keith.
the follow-up really, really easy.
Like Freddie says, shoes. Women love their shoes. Compliment them on their shoes. Yeah. Even if they look like plain shoes, their purses. Oh my gosh. I know more about purses than most men want to know. Why? Because there's a difference between a Coach and a Louis Vuitton and, anything else out there. So if you know the purses, hey, I'm a watch guy. Look, I wear, like, if you ever see me, I always wear different watches. People compliment me about my watch, I'm talking to them. Why? Because I'm a watch guy. That's me. Women, shoes, purses, outfits, hair, earrings. They don't get hey, think about this. Most women don't get complimented enough at home, so if you compliment them at the store, they're going to pay attention to you. Just saying. So, all right, I'm going to now go back to my screen. I have some. All right, so one of the things that a lot of people have when they form people, you've written down some notes on your blue tape from your pin that you have the blue tape wrapped around and stuff like that. But a lot of times it's like, who was that I just spoke with, and so I use a memorization game. I've always learned from mentors, how do you remember people's name? Because when you're networking in an event, it's not like you just talk to those 10 people and that's it. You're going to bump into one or two of them before you leave. And the best impression is if you can remember their name. You might have met Tony. He might have been the first person, and then you met Sarah, and then you met Joe. Tony and Sarah and Joe, and then Lisa, and then Keith, and then you keep going around, but then you bump into Sarah. And then you're like, you don't want to go, oh, what was your name again? So here's the thing is, who is that I spoke with? It's a little memorization game that I use to help remember people. Let me see if I click on this. So what I usually do is I use whatever their name is to a friend or family. All right, Keith. Well, Keith is easy to remember because it's a form of Kent. You know, um, like Lisa. I have a friend, Lisa. She's got blonde hair, and so somehow my brain associates it. You need to find out what works best for you. Is it associating to friends or family? Even a celebrity, you know, Kimberly, you know, that's a form of Kimberly, you know. All right, there's a news anchor, Kimberly Hunt in San Diego. She's blonde and good looking, so all right, I'm gonna associate those two. So see, yeah, like that. So I'm using Kimberly to associate to a celebrity I know, and I do it with actors, different actors I know. When I'm meeting people, I'll say, okay, this person reminds me of this celebrity with the same name, you know, and I do that. Or here's the other thing, you can have them spell it out. Kimberly, there's different ways of spelling your name. How do you spell it? And then they say, yeah, the Kimberly. Okay, so there's no, all right, so I want to make sure Kimberly. So I'm already saying it in my mind twice. All right, thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate you sharing with me how to spell your name, because you know how many Kimberlys are out there. Now, how many times have I just said her name in less than a minute? 4, 5 times? All right, so you say their name 3 times or more, because your brain has an activation that if you hear a name 3 or more times, it somehow goes to the subdermal. What is that? What's that one brain function? I can't remember. I keep thinking of Waterboy when I think of it.
Abdullah.
Abdullah oblongata,
Medulla oblongata.
something like that.
Not
But
Abdullah, but medulla.
medulla, yeah. So Abdullah, you know, singer, pop, you know. Anyways, say their name 3 times. You know, Michelle over here. You know, hey Michelle, you spell it with 1 L or 2 L's? And she's gonna tell me, oh, I spelled with 2 L's. Okay, Michelle, is it a M-I or M-Y? Because a lot of people spell it different. How do you spell it? And she's going to tell me, oh, thanks, Michelle. I appreciate you spelling that out for me. I wanted to make sure I put your name in my phone. Is this the correct way, Michelle? You know, so I'm saying it over and over, and that helps me remember. So then that way, when I bump into Tony or Sarah or Joe or Lisa or Keith, remember, see how I remember those names? It's because I've said their names over and over 3 to 4 times. I have them spell it out for me, and then I associate it either to a family member, a friend, or a celebrity I know. And these are tips or tricks that I use to help remember. If you've got a way to remember people's names that works for you, then use that. Okay, but this works really good for me. A lot of my mentors have said say their name 3 times, and in the conversation, they're gonna love it because you've said their name 3 times. Hey Keith, it was great meeting you. You know, I look forward to talking with you on the phone. Keith, is Monday a good time to call you? I want to make sure that I don't step on any of your toes. Thanks again for putting your information into my phone, Keith. Thank you. You know, I'm saying it 3 times. That, you know, that way Keith is in my brain, in my database, and then that way if I'm networking in a big event and I see Keith, oh, hey Keith, good to see you again. One of the things I do in my meetup is I like to greet. And I always greet everybody in the group. And what I do is I meet Keith. And I say, hey, Keith, welcome to the group. I want to introduce you to somebody I know. And I pass Keith to Katie. And I say, Katie, get to know Keith, tell him a little bit about you, and then introduce him to somebody that you know. All right? So then the next person comes in. All right? And it might be Raquel. And hey, Raquel, great to meet you. I'm going to either pass her to Katie, or I'm going to say, hey, I want you to meet another new person, Keith. He's here for the first time. Keith, this is Raquel. And then Michelle comes in, and I can either pass Michelle to Katie, Keith, or Raquel. Do you see how I keep? And then the funny thing is at the end of the day, I can tell everybody in that group. I've actually done it with a room of 100 people and knew everybody's name because I was the person that introduced them to somebody, and then they introduced to somebody, and then next thing you know, this person's coming back around being introduced to me from one of the people in the group, and I'm like, oh, I already know Keith. I introduced him to Katie, and they were talking about this. And next thing you know, everybody in the room was like, how do you know all these names? And so I just stopped everybody from talking. I said, all right, this is so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. I went around the room, 100 people, and got all the names right. And it's because your brain will function when you introduce somebody. There is impact, or you did something. There's a feeling when you introduce somebody to someone else that you know. When you know somebody, you don't have to memorize their name. It's just a new person, and you get this adrenaline rush. You get this feeling, oh my gosh, I just connected Keith to Katie. Oh, I feel so good. So your brain automatically creates that image, that creates that memory, and so then that way you don't forget the people's names. So hopefully that's a good tip to help you out. If you guys have any suggestions, I'm all ears. What works for you? If these are some new tips and techniques that you can use, please use them, practice them. I do that when I think about this. I go to a lot of Comic Cons. I bump into a lot of people. I bump into a lot of celebrities. I know them by face, but I don't always know them by name, and so I have to memorize their names. And some of their names are crazy. Like, I have a friend, her name's Yetide. She's on American Gods. I actually had to have her spell out her name, Yetida, so I could remember it, and I've never forgotten it. But in the conversation with her, I was asking her about her acting career, about what she does, and I kept saying, Yetide, how'd you get into that? Yetide, what's the favorite part about being on American Gods? Yetide, are you from around here? I just kept saying her name, and she's like, wow. She goes, you know my name really well. And I said, oh, you shared it, and it's the most important thing about you is your name. And she giggled and laughed, and she's like, you know what, you're my favorite agent out there. And I was like, that's cool. Why? Because I took the time to say her name. Most agents will just talk and they'll walk away and be like, oh, I'll, not worth my time or anything. So take the time, and yeah. And the last part, I know we're going into some in-depth stuff, but this is just the art of networking. All right, let me share the screen. Oh, is it still there? Can you see the follow-up part?
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay, cool. I thought I had unshared the screen. So follow-up. This is part of the networking. You got to know where to go. 2, you got to know what to say and the questions to ask them. 3, get that conversation and remember their names and how you met them. And then 4 is the follow-up. And we all know the gold or the money is in the follow-up. All right? So talk about the info they shared. All right? Hey, Keith shared a lot of information. 35 years, 2 kids, 27 and 30, 4 grandkids, 1 on the way, so almost 5. Started this full-time in 2015. Keith, you're looking a little stunned, like
That's good. You did good, man. Proud of you.
See, he likes to eat. He loves to do the outdoor stuff. He was doing this part-time back in 1989, but it's stuff I'm going to share in the conversation, and it's going to re-engage that feeling we had, that conversation we had in the line waiting for our coffee. And, oh, hey, thanks so much for that coffee again. That, compliment them, thank them for something that they've done. Thank you again for that coffee. That was really great. And you know what? That coffee helped me get through some of my meetings and stuff. So I really, really appreciate that. Are you showing off your Saints shirt? We won't talk about that because that was nothing we shared, nor did we talk about that. All right. So another thing is when you say you're going to do something, make sure that you put it in your calendar, put it in your phone, set a reminder that, hey, Keith, I'm going to call you on Monday. I didn't set a specific time, but I told Keith I was going to call him on Monday. So on my phone, I usually will set it as a 10 o'clock call. Doesn't matter where they are, East Coast, West Coast, 10 o'clock in the morning will be my first call. And that's usually, East Coast, that's 1 o'clock, Central Time, that's noon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. For those of you that can't figure out the time zones, there's websites that tell you how to convert the time zones. You can.
That's not nice.
Hey, I'm not here to hold hands. If you can't figure out how to convert the time zones, you need to go back to high school.
Wait, Ken. Honestly, you only put yours and the East in and the West. Everything but the South Central.
So if I gave you the time on the East Coast and the West Coast, you can figure out the in-between time.
Yeah, we can. But
we
maybe
want you to
some people
include us.
can't. Maybe some people can't.
Again, there are apps that tell you how to do that stuff.
Hey, just ask Kathy to sing. She's a really good singer.
We'll stop beating it to death.
Just ask Kathy to sing. She can sing really well.
Okay.
No,
Hey, that's okay. I do business in Australia. I do a business in Singapore. I have a website with a time conversion time. It puts my time, it tells me their time, and I can literally know when the time to call them. So
hey, watch this. Watch this. Lisa, watch this. Watch this. Hey Siri, if it's 5 p.m. in the Pacific Standard Time, what time is it Central Standard Time? 7 p.m.
Sticking her tongue at.
She's sticking her tongue out at Kent.
All right. So anyways, follow up. All right. Email reminders, Google phone, iPhone, Samsung, put it in there. Remind yourself to do the call because there are people out there that listen to your words carefully. And when you say you're going to call them on Monday, you better be calling them on Monday because if you don't, you will lose that deal. You will lose that relationship. You will lose the conversation because to some people, your integrity is 100% of the reason they do business with you. So if I told Keith I'm going to call him on Monday, I better make sure I call him on Monday. I don't care if it's 9 o'clock p.m. my time on Monday. I will leave him a message. And he says, if I don't pick up, leave me a message. But I better call him on Monday. And on my conversation, I'll be like, hey, Keith, I told you I'd call you on Monday. I know it's a little late. You know how business is. And, us entrepreneurs, we're always hustling and working. But I want to leave you this message. I told you I'd call you on Monday. If you can, call me back and let me know when the best time to reach you so we can have a live conversation. The best way to communicate with me is to text me first. I'm telling him what to do. So then that way he can follow up with me. Hey, if I don't hear from you by Thursday, I'm going to call you on Friday morning. And as soon as I hang up that conversation, I'm moving my Monday meeting appointment to Friday. So that way I'm keeping what I'm saying to Keith. And he's going to respect that. And when that phone rings on Friday, he's going to pick it up. All right, frequency. Here's another thing. How often do you get business cards or contacts and you only call them once, twice, and then you forget to call them back? And then you're like, oh, man, like a month later, you're like, oh, man, I should have called that person. They just joined somebody else's team. That's happened. So here's the thing. If you, like Keith, I told him I'll call him on Monday, and then I told him on Friday. Well, here's the thing. If he doesn't pick up the phone on Friday, then I'm calling him back on Monday. And then when I call him on Monday, if he doesn't pick up, hey, Keith, I know you're busy. I know you're helping a lot of people. I just wanted to stick to my word on calling you on Monday. If I don't hear from you this week, I'm going to call you next Monday. And I'm going to keep calling you on Mondays until I hear from you. All right. And in my reminders, I then just I auto-populate a reminder every Monday at 10 o'clock. And I can tell you, like on my printout here, I said Matt and Hallmark. I have built relationships from this. I have built great nuggets of gold from doing this. Like Hallmark, one of the managers of a booth, Christine, is a good friend of mine now because when I first met her, I set a reminder to email her once a month. I didn't have to call her. We were doing different shows and stuff like that, but I knew that if I emailed her once a month, then I could continue building that relationship up because the following year would be the next Comic-Con and, I wanted that exclusive ornament or I needed help getting tickets or whatever it was. But every month there was a reminder on my Gmail to email Christine. And here's the thing. A lot of people will be like, oh, I'll remember to do it. No, you won't. And then they'll hit the snooze on the reminders. Here's the thing. If that reminder pops up, just take 2 minutes. Stop what you're doing, take 2 minutes, and send an email. An email could just be like, hey, Christine, I was just thinking about you and the Hallmark crew, and, I know things are busy, but just wanted to say hey and let you know I was thinking about you. And send. Done. Because now she's getting a personal email from me letting her know I was thinking about her and the crew and things like that. Now the next email can be more detailed, like, oh my gosh, who are you guys working with? What are you doing? And things like that. Same, I can tell you about a buddy of mine, Matt, that I literally called every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. for literally 4 months before he picked up the phone, did a deal with me, and now we're like best friends and we do mutual business things together all the time because he loved that I never gave up on him. He was busy. He was an entrepreneur. He was always doing stuff. So my thing was I called him once a week, boom, 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 4 months in a row before he picked up. Because he was in and out of the country, he was doing deals and things like that. So you don't know what their schedule is. You don't know how busy they are. And so don't come to an assumption of if they don't pick up the phone the fourth, the fifth, the sixth time that they don't want to do business with you. They just might be busy. They might have things going on in their life that, just don't relate with you, so they're not going to pick up the phone. But when the time is right, they will. Or they'll eventually pick up the phone and say, stop calling me. And then you can just mark that person off your calendars. Also, when you're talking with them and find out who is their ideal client. All right? Because you're sharing your stuff and things like that. They have an occupation. They have a business. You want to also reciprocate. You don't want to be the take. You want to be the giver. So find out who is their ideal client and ask them, hey, if there was an ideal client, if there was one person I could talk to and share, what would your ideal client be? What would they look like? What would they be looking for? And they'll tell you. And then connecting them with a new client, a new prospect. If you are really good at networking, you'll go to networking events and go, oh my gosh, you're looking for a graphic designer? I know somebody you should talk to because you met that graphic designer 2 networking events ago. And what you do is you connect those 2 people together. And guess what? Both of them will then call you and thank you for connecting them, but then they're going to both be like, oh my gosh, how can I help you? Well, here's my ideal client, and this is what I'm looking for. Do you know anybody that can help me? So now you're kind of building an army, a referral army for you on your business because you just connected them with a new client or a prospect. And who doesn't love getting a new client or a new prospect? All right. And let's see, somebody's drawing on my board. And so the pot of gold is at the end of the rainbow. All right. And remember, that pot of gold is all those nuggets of gold, those nuggets of relationships that you have built and created. All right. Does that make sense? See here. Where are we? I don't know if I can clean that all drawing. There we go. So I think that's pretty much it. Let's see. Whoop, I'm drawing. Let me do this. And then I usually just give people my daily motivation. So anyways, that is the art of networking. That is really the gist of it, and tips to help you from now moving forward. A lot of you guys are going to network. A lot of you guys, the holidays coming up, you're going to be going to Christmas parties. You're going to be going to church gatherings. You're going to be going to networking events. These are just some tips to help you. And again, I am here to help you. So if any of you guys need to practice on your form, feel free to hit me up in Facebook message and say, hey, do you got a minute or two I can form you? Keith's saying the same thing. He's saying, hit him up on Facebook Messenger and say, hey, can I practice form on you? Now, will we go easy on you? Maybe. Maybe we're going to throw up a couple of scenarios on you and see how you react, but it's all about helping you get better. Does that sound good? Awesome, awesome. All right. So I'll go ahead. Anybody can ask us questions right now. I'm going to kind of let people unmute the lines. Let's see. I'm going to go gallery view so I can see everybody. All right. What else do we got? Hats off. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate that. Thank you, Randy. Awesome. Michelle, go to bed. All right, cool. So do you guys have any questions? Were those helpful tips and pointers to help you? I'm not saying master networking, but get good at networking, good at helping people by connecting with them, building those relationships so that way you can then talk about your business. Then that way you're not fire hosing them right off the bat. You're being different than everybody else. You know, why be like everybody else and cramming a business card down somebody's throat? Why be like everybody else and fire hosing them? Be different. Those are the people that they're going to see, and you're going to be that person that they're going to go, oh, that guy is different or that gal's different, and I want to follow them. I don't care what they're doing. They're doing it in the right way. All right, I see a lot of thumbs up, smiling faces. Kristen, good to see you.
That's good stuff, bro.
Julie, I see you too.
Good to see you all too. I missed you.
We missed you too. Awesome. So
Great training.
IDs, and there's no way that this.
PJ's taking notes already on his phone.
Hey, if I could just real quick, I know that this is a little bit off subject, but not a lot. Like going through, I know you want more people like active like this while we can and everything, but at least people are listening while they can. I think though that maybe like some good training, if you, or just to let people know that there is a way to post a photo. You know, when I know it's not like relevant to like this 100%, but I think it's good training, like since we're doing Zooms and everything else like that, because I just went through and looked, and more than half of our people have no picture at least or anything to say who they are and represent themselves. So, you know what I'm saying?
Are you talking on their profile?
Yes. When we're looking like through here, if they are like, you know, a little bit tonight, I had to like, you know, pause my video, turn my video off. But I have an image. I have an image. Most of us have an image, but I'm telling you, I literally wrote down everybody that doesn't, and there's half of the people don't. And as big as Zoom is becoming relevant and everything, maybe it'd just be good to,
Yeah, yeah.
suggest that
I mean,
put a still image.
it's good. I mean, you want people to know who you are. Like, I see Cindy's right here. She's got a beautiful smile. She's got her glasses on. She's got her video paused at the moment. Same thing with Jennifer. They've got profile pictures on here. Then that way you know who they are, and that way you can connect with them. Like, where's PJ? PJ's got the one where he's rocking it out with the flag in the background, doing his military thing. So, is that what you're doing there, PJ? Is that what you're doing, rocking it out with the flag? Were you in the military?
No.
All right, so he's just supporting it. Were you at the desert?
That flag is at the top of one of my favorite trails out on the PCH.
There you go.
So when you reach the top, you reach the flag, you've reached the end. So it's like getting to your goal.
Sweet. See, I like that. Yeah. So, Randy's got his hemp leaf. I personally, again, am going to agree with Julie that if you're going to pause your video, at least have a nice professional photo of yourself. Yes, that includes you, Lisa. Yeah, like that. Lisa, great job. All right.
I don't know how to post it.
If you don't know how to post it, get together with somebody on here that can show you how to do it. It's just
Hey, I tell you what, I take on the challenge. If anybody would like some help to know, I take on the challenge and just message me, because I wasn't sure either. I was jealous for a while when I first started Zooming. I'm like, how can they pause and still have some, so, and it's so easy. Yes, exactly. It's so easy. So if anybody does not know how, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll help you out.
Or Julie, just tell them to hit the video on the button on the bottom that says stop video.
Yeah, but
And it'll pause my face on there
to your profile, so that you see an image instead of like a blank screen.
Right.
Oh.
If you're not sure,
yeah,
ask Julie and she'll help you out, and then we'll have a whole bunch of frozen faces on here. I personally I like the interaction with all. Like, I will engage. When I'm talking and doing these presentations, I will lock on to one or two of you and talk to you guys because you're live. Like today, I was locked on to Kimberly and Keith, and I was watching what they were doing. And it also, think about this as a presenter, you guys aren't in front of me. You're off in your house doing whatever, but it's nice for a presenter to be able to talk to somebody, to share the information and see how they're doing, whether you're smiling, whether you're shaking your head, whether you're giving them a thumb. That way they know, keep the energy going on the call, because there have been calls I've done and I look and there's just like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, am I giving good information or what? And at the end, then everybody was like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, all right, you guys got to do more emotion because I'm talking to you guys live. You're watching me. Yes, like that. So it helps. Hey, Charles and I, we do the Facebook Lives. We watch you guys. We look for you guys to, one of the things, Facebook did was the emojis going across the screen with the hearts and things. That really gets people amped up to share more information. I mean, Kristen, how excited do you get when you see the hearts or the thumbs or the smiley faces coming across your screen as you're showing information?
Yeah, it's exciting. It makes you more excited and want to keep talking.
Exactly.
Well, so, I have to learn how to do that too.
It's all a process. We all started in one place, started at the bottom and worked our way up, Diane. So don't worry. You're at the right place. You're in the right group. Everybody's here to help you. And, and Lisa can show you how to form everybody.
I was going to comment, but I was scared to say anything. I didn't know if I could talk.
Oh, we're all family here. And, when I'm doing the training, I like to share the information, but I will always stop a little bit of the training to get your input, because I want to know what you guys think and how you guys like this. And
Okay.
again, like I said, I'm coming from my 20 plus years of experience and knowledge and training from other mentors. And you know what? I'm always open to learning a new technique. Maybe there's a new way to talk to people. Maybe there's a new way to follow up with people, or there's a new way to remember people's names. And I'm always open to learning, because, you know, you can teach an old dog a new trick here.
Well, you learn that trick on how to remember the names. Teach it to me, because I am very bad.
Well, here's the first trick. Stop telling yourself you're bad at remembering names, because your brain hears what you're just saying. And if you say, "Oh,
That
I'm
is
bad at
true.
remembering names," your brain hears that, and that triggers a function in your brain that says, "You know what? I'm not going to remember the names." So I am working to get better at remembering names, because that's something believable. That's something that your brain can say, "You know what? They can practice. They can get better," and it believes it. Yes.
Yeah.
Kathy, Kent, another way to remember names is songs. Just
Songs. There you go. That's how I remember Jenny. Jenny. Oh.
no.
Well, I know I can do it. I used to get lost all the time, and then I discovered this technique of association with different buildings and landmarks to remember where to go. So I guess I can do that with names, you know.
Don't go anybody.
It's all good. We all get better over time. So just keep practicing. All right. So does anybody else have anything that they want to input about the art of networking? If you guys all liked it, do the spirit fingers. There we go. I like that. Awesome. Cool. Well then, Keith, where are you? There you are. Oh, he's doing the spirit fingers. Oh, Keith, next one, this coming Wednesday, gonna have another training for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Come on, Keith. Come with it, Chef.
I got it, honey.
All right. So
I got it.
What time?
As long as you bring in the onion rings, I got it.
Lisa, if you have to ask what time, I'm gonna just boot you out of the group.
Messing with you.
6:30, Wednesdays and Sundays.
I know, I understand, but I have people on our company constantly saying, why don't they ever put our time zone? And it's a simple thing. It's not a holding hand thing. It's as simple as, it's north of the river, and there are a million people that have a brain block about north of the river, south of the railroad track. They just want you to say left or right. So we just want you to say our time zone. Include us. Redhead over here.
I got you covered.
Thank you, my Cajun.
Keith, in the military should have been already booted. Because in the military, if you can't figure it out, you're already at the back of the line.
In the military,
I see somewhere waking leaves.
This is warrior training. I'm not going to hold your hand.
They give complete instruction.
Warrior up.
Yeah, warrior up, Cupcake.
Warrior up. Okay, my friend.
In the military, they have you raking leaves and painting rocks.
That's right. I'll get the
Wednesday night, 8:30 Central Standard Time. We'll see y'all there.
Oh,
sounds good. All right. And so we'll have a training Wednesday, 8:30 Central Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. Hey, we're gonna bring it warrior style for you guys.
Listen, I've already been rubbing it.
Hey guys,
I'm gonna go get the oil now.
Hold on.
No, I'm done sitting in here. I'm going to my bed.
There you go. All right. So don't forget, this is training for other people as well. Not only your team, the other people that people that you're networking with. Say, hey, I'm doing this warrior training. They're giving us training on how to be warriors, how to prospect, how to follow up, how to network, how to do all kinds of stuff. We're learning leadership skills. If you want to be part of it, I can add you into the group. They have some guidelines. You got to follow the guidelines. But if you want to be in it, feel free to tell me about it, and I'll add you into it. So I know I've been adding people. I've seen other people adding people. We really, I know Keith and I get excited when we see more people on the calls. We really want to blow this up and get some huge leaders in the training here besides me and Keith. I'm telling you already, I've got one of my business partners, Mamie. She's going to come in here and do a solid training on a Sunday on the 4 colors: the blueprint, the action person, the nurturer, and the knowledge. And you're going to know the buying styles of a lot of people.
That's good stuff.
Okay.
I'm already talking with Scott Duffy to come in and do an hour training with us.
Ooh.
Yeah, Keith is going, ooh, because Keith knows Scott Duffy.
Ooh.
Yeah. So a lot of you guys have
I want him.
Yeah. So I'm working to get more entrepreneurs, networkers in here. I might even get Ray Higman to join us.
Get Tony Robbins and I won't ask what time.
Stop playing.
Lisa?
I'll put the chain over.
That's right.
My God.
I will laugh if I call him up and I get him on next week.
Who's not excited about this? That's super exciting. Yes, please do.
All right. So keep staying plugged in. I love that you guys are here on a Sunday and it's late in the evening, but I'm just glad that you guys are here. I'm super stoked that you got this training. Please let other people know about it. We'll be back here on the same bat channel, bat time on Wednesday. Keith and I are going to bring some leadership qualities that you will not want to miss. We look forward to seeing your beautiful and bright faces. And again, like I say, keep smiling because you never know whose world you're going to change.
You know what time it is here? It's 10:15 Central Standard Time.
It's 8:15, 14 here.
There you go.
So,
have an awesome night, guys.
Thank
we're
you. Good night.
Night.